God, you intended this as evil against me, but God intended it for good in order to save many lives. In this statement, Joseph at once upbraids his brothers for doing that which is really and truly evil. So he's holding them accountable. He's saying they're responsible for what they did. It was really and truly evil. But at the same time, Joseph says that God himself was actively involved in bringing this to pass. What his brothers were doing had one intention behind it, but God, who is himself part of the equation, also had an intention behind this, which was a good intention. So Joseph doesn't dispense with either part of this, either the sovereignty of God or the culpability of men. Joseph says, God intended something, men intended something, and so he neither attributes the evil of the action to God, nor does he suggest that God was just this spectator of what was happening. God, by his providence, brought this to pass, and he intended it for a good end, namely to bring about the saving of many lives. Well, in Acts 2 and 4, you have a New Testament counterpart to that. In Acts 2 and 4, Peter speaks of the death of Christ as that which was foretold in the scriptures, even as that which God predetermined would come to pass. But at the same time, Peter, like Joseph, upbraids the religious leaders for what they did. He says, you, by the hands of lawless men, right, handed him over to be crucified. And so Peter says that what happened was according to the plan of God, but at the same time, it was perpetrated by the hands of lawless men. So this is compatibilism in a nutshell. God is sovereign. Human beings are responsible for their actions. Now, what people who engage in philosophical reflection on this are trying to do is they're trying to explain how these two things go together. They're trying to show how there's a coherence between these two things, how it's consistent to affirm both of these, how one doesn't negate the other or undermine the other or conflict with the other or what have you. And all those efforts are well and good. Provided people are reasoning from the scriptures rather than sitting in judgment of scripture, that's all well and good. But as far as scripture goes, it's very clear that God is sovereign and man is responsible. And so there isn't any need on the part of a person